Hi, I'm Fletcher Rhoden, and today my pet peeve is nothing. I'm going to talk about the things I love. Well, Pet Peeves is brought to you by my website, FletcherRhoden.com. That's where you can find links, such as the one to my author's page at Amazon.com. That's where you can download my many books. You can buy them in paperback. You can download them in Kindle format or audiobook format for Audible. There's also a link to my Spotify artists page. That's where you can download my many records. I've got a ton of them. In 2024 alone, I had a 4-record set called Quadrilogy. And in 2025, I've got a brand new pop album called I'm Possible. Now you can download those, or any of my albums, of which I have many, at Spotify or at any of your favorite download sites. Wherever you like to download your favorite music, you can download mine. But at my website, FletcherRhoden.com, there is free music, which you can get there exclusively. So check it out. Okay, well, I've done a lot of pet peeves this year, and it's been a good deal of fun, and it will continue to be. But I thought I'd change things up today and talk about things that I love. Pet peeves are things but there are things that you know? I have pet peeves, you have pet peeves, we all have pet peeves. But life isn't just a museum of pet peeves, is it? If it is, that's not a very fun life. A fun life includes things you love. Me, I love my family and friends. I love the voice of singer Mahalia Jackson and the music she recorded. She's the greatest gospel music singer that there has ever been. I love the music of Bob Dylan. He's the very best songwriter of the modern era, of any era, I would say. I love to listen to his music and go to his concerts. I love the ocean. I love to hear the waves and feel the spray and breathe the salty air. I love living near the ocean. In Las Vegas, I don't. But I have done in various other times in my life. And those are times when I find great solace. I like to be near the ocean. I love the ocean. I love the sea, as Hemingway so eloquently said. I love God. I'm going to go ahead and say that. I'm a follower of the teachings of the Christ. I believe in the risen Christ. And I do love God, and I do follow the teachings of the risen Christ. He would be my authority on earth. And I say that unabashedly. I do not identify as a Christian, for that is a group of humans who have certain club orientations, and I'm a man who doesn't join clubs comfortably. But I have a personal relationship spiritually, and that is something that I love. I love a clear day. I love a beautiful, clear blue sky day. Not too cold, not too hot, spring day. I love that. I love an autumn day. I love the smell of autumn when autumn first arrives. And you can smell the rotting leaves and the change in the air. I love that. I love art. I'm an artist by nature. And I just love the wondrous thing that a beautiful artistic expression is. If it's a painting that's great, I love it. If it's a dance that's great, a song that's great, anything that's great at what it is artistically, I just love it. I love the idea of a sound, pure expression of artistry. And it can be even something I would normally not listen to, such as rap music or a heavy metal guitar solo, If it's great, I love it. I love greatness, but not power. I'm here to talk about what I love, not what I disdain. I do not love power, but greatness and power are often mistaken for one another, but they're not. Many people have power and lack greatness. Many people have greatness and lack power. I love possibility. I think a world without possibility, in other words, without hope, without chance, without future, in fact, that's not a world I would love. But I do love a world where there is always possibility. I love the concept of possibility. It speaks to the future. It speaks to the best in us all. Because what is possibility? Well, that's up to you and me, isn't it? We'll decide what is possible by what we can imagine. So I love possibility. I also love imagination. I've always loved that. The world of imagination is what brings to life the best fiction we've ever had, the greatest poems, the most wondrous stage presentations, screen, on the page, on the stage, on the screen. It's all fiction. Fiction comes from the imagination. Everything we have in our world comes from our imagination, the human world. Everything that you see that exists was at one time imagined by someone. Before it existed, it was imagined by someone. So that interconnects with possibility, but I love both those things. I love the very concept of imagination. Albert Einstein said if you can imagine it, it's possible. He didn't say imagining it makes it true, but he said if you can imagine it, it is possible. You don't have to recreate it in a lab to show that it is possible. Just imagining it proves that it can be, whatever it is. And if you don't agree with Einstein, then maybe you're smarter than Einstein. Hey, what are you, some kind of Einstein over here? So, and by the way, I love Einstein. He's great. What a great man of peace. A man whose brain was like 10% bigger, 8% bigger than the average human brain. A man whose significance in the story of humanity cannot be underestimated. A man who is more often quoted than just about any other man that I can find, other than, well, more quotes than Jesus. I'm not sure he's more often quoted, but a lot of quotes. Brilliant man, I love that guy. Some of my other heroes, geez, that's basically, I guess, what we're talking about. I got a lot of them. But that's another story for another time. I just wanted to share some of the things that I love. You know what I loved? My time in Ecuador around the turn of around 2019, 2020. I met a lot of beautiful people, had a great experience. That was a real eye-opener. I learned more about myself. I learned more about other people, more about the world. I loved creating some of the books that I did and some of the music that I did. I loved creating music. I think at this point I'm at a retirement stage in my life. I think I'm Possible is going to be my last pop album for the foreseeable future. I will not write any more books. This is probably my last year of this kind of YouTube programming. But I've loved doing it. I've loved playing the guitar and getting lost in that guitar solo. And just playing a guitar solo such that you feel like you're not even playing it. You're sort of having an out-of-body experience where you're watching and you're hearing this guitar solo occur with your body wrapped and the guitar sort of wrapped around it, encompassing it. But it's nothing that you're like cognizantly, it's just sort of happening in a way. And that kind of transcendence, which you can achieve only through years of practice and discipline, and finally through mastery. I love that. I love that I learned how to play guitar. I love that I loved the moments when I was so lost in the playing of it that it became like a third thing, a third dimension, an out-of-body experience kind of. And I love that. There are so few ways to achieve that in life. To achieve that kind of transcendence is very difficult. But playing music can achieve it, and I love the fact that I learned how to do that. That I learned how to transcend, which is great. I love the books that I wrote. They were difficult, many of them, but each one of the ones that I put my own name on have a special meaning to me. And I don't love them like people, they're only books, but I love the fact that I wrote them. And I don't have to die with the agony of untold stories, on my soul. I love the fact that I spent so many years with my father. His time, like everybody's time on the planet Earth, was limited, and I'm glad I had the exposure to him that I did. He was the parent I wanted to raise me, and I'm glad that I had that opportunity. I thank everybody who made that possible. I love being alive. I may not come off like the happiest guy in the world, especially when you see Pets and Peeves and I'm upset about this and that and chewing and all that. But really, being alive is the best thing. I imagine a lot better than the alternative, at least from my point of view. And this has been fun. I'm years old, and I've enjoyed a lot of those years. And just knowing that I'm here and able to do what I can do and be able to talk to you as I am doing brings me a real joy. I know that my efforts to communicate with the world will continue to bear fruit. These shows will run and run and run for as long as YouTube will allow it, I guess, or until something weird happens. And that's good. I will not always be making these shows. This is my last year of doing these kinds of things. So as I near retirement, I look back on the years I spent playing music, writing music, recording, creating, performing, paintings, kids' books, novels, nonfiction, plays, directing, videos, editing, all that, animation. This has been great. It's been a beautiful life for me. I love that I finally came to understand myself as a Sigma. That was weird. I always wondered what kind of freak I was, and now I know. And finding out was a revelation. It came with this book I wrote called Tracking the Lone Wolf, the Sigma at Work, at Home, and at Play. And it's about how if you think that the alpha and the beta are the sole designations to encompass all of the human population, then you're misguided. There's a lot more to it. So I set about to write a book. I'd spent years writing, ghostwriting books about psychology and psychiatry and workplace applications of different skill sets. So I finally pooled it all together in a way that focused on the Sigma lone wolf personality. And I'm a Sigma. We're like 1% of the population. 1%, roughly. Some people say 2%. Some people say 0.2%. So I just level it off at 1%. And it's good to know who you are. To be comfortable in your own skin. To realize that you're not wrong, you're just different. And I grew up most of my life thinking I was wrong. Because people didn't understand at that time, it was a long time ago, that I grew up. So no one knew what a Sigma was. Really, Alpha and Beta hadn't even been designated for the human race when I was a kid. So it's nice to know after all these years that I'm actually who I'm supposed to be. Oprah Winfrey said, the whole point in life is to evolve into the person that you were meant to be. You can learn more about that on my other show, Quotes and Quips. But she's not wrong. In fact, she's very right. And I love the fact that I had time enough to figure out who I was, to learn who I was, And I'm glad that psychological technology finally caught up with me. And that I was here to see it happen. So I really, and in that way, I love myself. I don't aggrandize myself. I don't love myself, but I do love myself. I don't hate myself. I don't fear myself. I don't resent myself. I forgive myself, and I embrace who I am. Let's just put it that way. I wouldn't say I love myself, because anyone who says that's got to be a jerk, right? And it's not the ups and downs in life that make it hard. It's the jerks. But I will say that I embrace who I am. And I love my ability to do that, which a lot of people never find the ability to do. They never can embrace who they are. It's hard to do. Society encourages you not to do that. Society encourages you to correct who you are and become who they want you to be. But I was never going to be able to do that. And I never will. And that's what I love most of all. Okay, so today's Pet Peeves was a little different. But if you tune in every other Monday, you'll see a new Pet Peeves. And that it will alternate every Monday with my other show, Quotes and Quips. That's why I sometimes get Pet Peeves, Quotes and Quips all mixed up. It's every other Monday, alternating Mondays. They premiere at noon Mountain Standard Time in the United States, Mondays at noon. The shows alternate every other Monday. I leave the reruns up so you can always see them. And there's also reruns from 2024's run of Quotes and Quips. That's like 26 webisodes. And there's a show from 2023 called Tracking the Lone Wolf. But that one is on its own YouTube channel called Tracking the Lone Wolf at YouTube. The reruns of Quotes and Quips, and of course this year's Quotes and Quips and Pet Peeves, they all run on this YouTube channel. So keep tuning in for more. Don't forget about my new album, I'm Possible. You can download that wherever you like to download your favorite music, anywhere on the internet. Tune in again for more programming. And until then, bye, Mary.